tributes continue to pour in for former Zambian President Kenneth Kaunda, who died at the age of 97. Kaunda is lauded for his role as a leader in his country and also as a liberation fighter in the region. Joining us now to pay tribute to the late Kaunda is former Secretary General of the EFF, Godrich Gardee. Mr. Gardee, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Let's begin by getting your party's view on the role and the legacy left by KK on the African continent.
Much has been said in our statement that we have issued. We are very saddened. We send our heartfelt condolences to the family, to the people of Zambia, the government and the people of Africa. He was such a great man, a man of humanity and peace.
Now, you say that Mr. Kaunda condemned tribalism. So you think that Africa is still experiencing tribalism? And if so, what can be done to overcome this on the continent?
Well, the continent needs leaders like the former President Kenneth Kaunda, a person of people, a man of the people, a leader of the people, a person who actually hated tribalism, who never stole a cent from his people, a leader who was always with his people at all times.
Yeah, and in the same breath, in the statement, you also claim that Kenneth Kaunda never stole from his people. What can be a solution in addressing the issue of corruption on the continent?
As a matter of fact, we are aware that most former heads of states throughout the world, and Africa in particular, including France, we have heads of states who are undergoing trial in their countries because they have stolen from the government, they have stolen from their own people, and it's even worse here in Africa. Former leaders who have stepped down are actually being pursued for whatever wrongs that they did while they were in office. It is no longer coincidental that actually they are being they want to stay for long in offices because they know what they are actually sitting on. And with President Kaunda, he just stepped down when he lost elections and he never looked back. And to date, there is nothing that could be found, some footprints up to his house about corruption. Even President Mbeki spoke about an international investigation team from Britain that was sent by then President Shiluba to investigate if there is any kwacha or a dollar that was actually stolen by former President Kaunda, and he could not find anything.
Now, Mr. Gardee, what do you think needs to be done to honor the legacy of this great man?
Collectively, as Africans, we need to look back and ask ourselves, what were the values of his leadership? What did he commit and strive to live for and achieve in his lifetime? And take the baton from there. He spoke of a united Africa. He spoke of an Africa without tribalism. He spoke of a prosperous Africa economically. He spoke of a peaceful Africa. We need to commit ourselves to that. We don't need the tensions that we see in the North Africa, in the West Africa, and in the East Africa, and of late here next to us in Mozambique. We need to commit ourselves to strive for a peaceful neighborliness with all our people in our communities and strive for economic prosperity.
Now, Mr. Gardee, I also want to pick your brain about another issue. Of course, we heard from the Department of Basic Education Minister, that's Andrew Motshekga, a short while ago, outlining that, well, for now, schools will not be closed. Now, the EFF had actually given the department an ultimatum to say that you're giving the department a week to close schools because of the spike in COVID-19 numbers. Just give us your initial response to that announcement.
Well, it is by no coincidence to hear what Minister of Education, Andrew Motshekga, has said. Actually, his government and the ANC have been told by their handlers to ensure that they depopulate Africans in South Africa, in Africa in particular. And it is hypocritical of them to even tell us that they care about our people. From one scandal to the other, they stole billions of rands meant for the corona, the PPE. They've destroyed millions of vaccines. They even imported for us some water from India. And that's what we know them of. And they are not enough with the killing of our people in Marikana. And they want to see more of our Africans and our people dying. I mean, a lot of schools, as we speak, are being closed in Gauteng, in KwaZulu-Natal, and more will be closed in the coming weeks. And they will have to be closed because life is being lost. And there is no leadership from government to take a decisive decision to say, let us vaccinate our people instead of closing schools.
Now, the EFF is also being a strong proponent, calling for the net to be widened in terms of the sourcing of vaccines. Are there any plans that you will be undertaking or protests to urge government to consider more options as far as the inoculation options are concerned?
Over 1 billion citizens of China, together with Russia, have already been vaccinated through the use of the vaccines produced by Russia and China, respectively. And they are offering us what they have offered and jabbed their citizens with. It's unlike these other Western countries who are offering us something which they are even not sure of, and they tell us to destroy it, and they tell us it's not a variant compatible with the variant of COVID in South Africa, and all this and that. We are saying the government should open the net wide open and allow all other vaccines that are found in the market to be used in South Africa, including traditional medicines. It can be that the government is silent on what needs to be done. There's no innovation. We don't have leadership, actually. We're on autopilot. Hence, we've got one scandal from one scandal to the other, from the depth of the billions of which even EFF contributed 15 million rand to the destruction of vaccines from Gqeberha, and to the 1 million vaccines from India that had to be exported out after a fanfare receipt of them at OR Tambo. We have a clownish government that does not know where it comes from, where it is, and where it is going to.
Let's get your opinions as well about SAHPRA, the regulatory authority for vaccines. And, of course, they give the green light for the use of particular vaccines in the country. Do you have any confidence in this regulatory authority?
It does appear that authority is actually a security guard of the white monopoly capital and the Western pharmaceuticals conglomerates. They are just here only to approve whatever comes from America and United Kingdom, and nothing from any other country of advanced scientific innovation like Russia and China, something which is very, very strange. And we are actually going to confront them next week, Friday. We will be there. We will call upon all South Africans in their millions to come there and demand vaccines in their lifetime.
Now, you are saying that you are going to challenge them in the form of a march, I believe. But aren't you worried that this might also just turn out to be another super spreader event?
We are already in a super spreader society with schools. As children are there sitting next to each other. The mines are operating at 100%. Workers are in there. Offices, companies, retail and manufacturing, they are at 100% capacity. The trains moving from Soweto in KwaMashu, in Khayelitsha, and everywhere, the public transport, it's in full capacity. Those are actually the super spreader events, the public transport, the underground mines, the retail industry, and the manufacturing plants of our economy. That is where actually there is a super spreader, not marches. If political events and marches were super spreaders, for sure, President Cyril Ramaphosa will not have called for elections on the 27th of October this year.
But aren't you worried about the criticism that the EFF is being very irresponsible in this call?
I think we should actually say those who are irresponsible are the employers who have packed all the 30,000 workers in the platinum belt in the northwest, the gold mines everywhere, the coal mines in Witbank in Mpumalanga, the manufacturing plants in of all these big industries in PE, in East London, in Cape Town, in Durban. That is where actually the super spreaders are, because it is where there is a concentration of the economy and the workers are forced into manufacturing industries and down the belly of the earth to work. Those are the actual super spreaders.
Well, there you've heard it from the EFF's former Secretary General, that's Godrich Gardee, giving us his response to the country's response to COVID-19, as well as the Education Department's move to open, or rather keep schools open.